Hello Capricorn, Capricorn Rising, and Capricorn Moon people. This is your monthly astrological horoscope for June 2017. And a quick reminder for y'all out there, if you do have questions about why astrologers always say look at your rising sign, I do have a special video on the main channel page. It's a featured video, it's at the very top, and it asks all those questions, all the frequently asked questions I get about why the rising sign, how do I find it, what does it mean, what does it mean for my horoscopes, what's better, what's the most important thing I should look at, what should I look at? I have those questions all answered on that video, and more that you probably should be asking as well. Another announcement I want to make is that I'm actually going to be appearing on Nadiya Shah's channel on June 10th, a Saturday. We all know Nadiya Shah. She's a fabulous astrologer. You had to have heard of her. And she and I are going to be having a wonderful discussion about astrology, spirituality, tarot, and all kinds of good stuff. And it's going to be happening at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US and Canada. And like I said, I'll put a link to Nadiya's channel below if you want to check her out. She's, again, a fantastic astrologer. And of course, if you ever want to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below or go to integrativemysticism.com. So what is going on with your astrology this month, Capricorn? This month we are getting ready for another one of those trans that happens every 2 or 3 months, where all the planets kind of group up, okay? And that puts a big emphasis on one area of our chart, and we have to, understand why that happens so we can flow with that energy, not against it. And it all starts at the beginning of the month, on the 4th, with Mars moving into your 7th house of committed partnerships, Cancer, your closest one-on-one relationships. Alright, that's your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, BFF, business partner, roommate, all the people you spend your closest one-on-one time with, and it's going to be there all the way up until the 3rd week of July. And with Mars in your 7th house, you're going to be noticing an opportunity to bond. Okay, Mars brings activities, problem solving, and bonding opportunities to everyone in that area where we're getting closer. Usually we're getting closer by tackling issues and doing problem solving, fighting back to back, but also at the same time being able to appreciate the other person when they are working their hardest and at their best. Now with Mars here, it's also very important to keep in mind that people tend to get a lot more serious and take things a bit more seriously, so tensions and passions could rise a little bit during this era. It's important to make sure that we take everything with a grain of salt and make sure that we also curb our speech a little bit so that our partner or whoever we're talking to doesn't take things too personally. But you know what they say, sometimes you love as much as you bicker. And that they say that about a lot of close one-on-one relationships, and when it comes to married couples and best friends and things like that, you can definitely see a lot of that. So I want you to enjoy this energy because it is a very passionate opportunity. A lot of you who are single and looking may even find that you are put in a situation to get closer to somebody based on the work that you do together. Okay, so when I talk about that, it's sort of like this person may be set in your path, they may be put on your team at work or at school. This may be a situation where it's a part of they join your sports team or they join a club that you're a part of, but you're actually getting to know them by watching them do the same thing as you or solving problems. It's bonding and watching this person go to work. On the 6th of the month, we've got Venus, planet of love and romance and pleasure, moving into Taurus, into your 5th house of love and romance, and this is going to be a huge benefit, I think, for every one of you, but most definitely the single Capricorns out there, because when Venus goes into your 5th house, it's an opportunity to attract many different options when it comes to romantic partners. Giving yourself the experience of going out on dates, getting to know people, and not just one. And this can also be great for a lot of you who are trying to bring just more romance into your life by actually getting out there and circulating a bit more. Venus in the 5th house can also bring, again, a much more amorous mood to an existing romantic relationship that you are in, and possibly even a sweetness where it's going to feel like the two of you are dating all over again, and reigniting that engine, beginning that new cycle with your sweetheart. And luckily, Venus is going to be here pretty much all month from the 6th on, so it's not like it's going to be a short-term thing. Most of these are not. We also have Mercury, planet of communications. We've got the planet, it's a planet of haste and speed, information, all of that good stuff moving into your 6th house, Gemini, the area of work, reputation, and your physical health on the same day, on the 6th, and he will be in the 6th house for you all the way up until the 21st. And you're going to be noticing that a lot of rapid opportunities to promote yourself are occurring. Your name is starting to spread like wildfire. If you're looking for a new job, if you're looking for a new opportunity to put yourself out there, be seen in areas that you might feel be an improvement to the environment, to the atmosphere you're in now, Mercury is going to be spreading the word. You might actually find yourself being discovered or headhunted, but also with Mercury, it's also a time where you notice that employment opportunities, interview opportunities, and exchanges tend to move very, very quickly. It may just be put on the table, and for a second, and then a second later, somebody picks it up, and we're on an interview. You may be dropping off applications and finding out you can get an interview there right on the spot. This is also great for your health because Mercury tends to be great for those of us who like to work on managing our weight a little bit when it comes to losing weight. I love it when Mercury is in the 6th because we tend to drop that weight kind of fast. So that might be an additional bonus. Just something I've noticed from my own personal astrology journals. It's like, oh, I lose weight pretty easy when Mercury's in the 6th house. I got to keep an eye on that. On the 9th, we do have a full moon occurring in Sagittarius, in your 12th house of your past, your privacy, and your hidden zone. And this can be kind of a troublesome moon. Not everyone's going to have a hard time with this moon, so again, don't forget to check your rising sign. But for the Capricorn energies, this can be tough. And a lot of the reasons this can be a little bit tough is because, well, it forces closure in a situation that we may not think we're done with. And sometimes it's hard to accept closure. Sometimes it's hard to say a situation is done and we don't get to go back and redo or retry. But the important thing is that we have to understand it's an ending and that's enough. And this is meant to be a cleanup moon. I call it the breakdown, breakthrough moon that we all have once a year. It's just yours is happening this month. Whether it's going back and finally letting go and confronting a person or a situation from your past, and you're not going to go back and, for more, and it may be your last chance, and you can't go back for more. And between the 9th and the 23rd of the month, you may have to learn that lesson. However, it is a weight off your shoulders. We also have Jupiter turning direct in your 10th house of career. Now, while Jupiter's been retrograde in your 10th house from about January, you may have noticed you've hit a bit of a glass ceiling. We're not really losing money. We're not really, having everything kind of get dried up, but we don't seem to feel like there's a lot of progress or a lot of promotion, a lot of upward mobility, in terms of advancement and how we're doing things. A lot of you may have, maybe a lot of you have been very timid about taking chances when it comes to striking out on your own or even promoting yourself. Well, Jupiter turning direct in this area changes all of that, and from now until October, you're going to be seeing opportunities to not only strut your stuff, but maybe even work on your own, to perform on your own, and also at the same time promote yourself for, onto bigger and better things. It's time to walk away from being the eternal student or the eternal apprentice. A lot of you Capricorn people may be finding that, you have every right to be there, among the leaders and the bosses and the teachers and the masters and things like that. In fact, the Jupiter direct in the 10th house, you may be finding opportunities to be put in that situation, whether you feel qualified or not, and you're actually better qualified than you think. And again, it's a long-term aspect going all the way up till October, but it is a steady incline in progression. On the 16th, we've got Neptune turning retrograde in Pisces, in your 3rd house of communications, pacts, and promises. And what's going to be happening is this is a long-term angle as well, okay? Neptune goes retrograde for about 5 months a year, and it's been happening in the same spot for the last several years, in your 3rd house of communications from June till November, so this year is no different. But when we have Neptune retrograde in the 3rd house, it forces us to pay attention to where we hold back the truth from people, or we ignore the truth that we see in people, okay? And that's because when Neptune goes retrograde, the rose-colored glasses come off. The tunnel vision goggles come off, and the X-ray specs come on. And this may have to do with colleagues, with peers, okay? This could have to do with people who work in service for you, whether they are a teacher or a student. They may be an accountant, they may be a lawyer, a solicitor, a doctor. You're going to be starting to notice some truths about these people, and whether or not they're getting too much credit for what you're paying them for, or what you're relying on them for, or they're not getting enough. You may also notice that during this time, even your friends, you may have to be coming out with a lot of truths with friends, coming out about things that you normally would not say, opinions you may spare them, observations you might think they might not necessarily appreciate hearing. But sometimes we need to work on those things, because some people don't see their own issues. Some people don't see it. It's not that they don't want to work on it, they don't see their own problem. And a lot of you Capricorn people are actually going to be sort of given a truth serum. And like it or not, you may need to get over any apprehension you may have about being the one who is the bearer of tough news or bad-tasting medicine. Because these people, over this theme, you'll be brought a lot of people in a lot of situations where people need to hear it. On the 21st of the month, we've got 2 more shifts going on at the same time. We've got the Sun and Mercury moving into Cancer, your 7th house of, again, your closest one-on-one relationships. And with the Sun going in this area, it's talking about patching things up at the end of this month and going into July with somebody who is meant to be really, really close to you. This most likely does fall into a more platonic category when we talk about best friends and things like that, because Mercury is already in here as well, opening up lines of communication. Now, Mercury will also be working on opening up lines of communication and getting things more vocal from your romantic partner as well, if you feel like there are conversations people aren't having that need to be had, addressing issues that, again, are getting swept under the rug. But, when we get this more vocal conversation going on between the two of you, again, there's an opportunity for closeness. In fact, this Mercury-Sun angle can bring an opportunity to get more out of the partnership that you already have by increasing the depth, by removing the walls and boundaries that may still be up for reasons that aren't good reasons. Finally, on the 23rd, we've got a new moon in the 7th house of partnerships and committed, one-on-one relationships. And those of you who may be looking for a one-on-one relationship situation, whether it's a romantic partner or it's for platonic reasons or business reasons, may have an opportunity show up with somebody who is either among your own or perhaps referred to you by one of your own. So, in the last week of this month and in the beginning of next month, we're trying to bring you the tightest, closest relationships possible with the most reliant and dedicated of people. Be available to it. So that is your horoscope. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And of course, if you ever want to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below or go to integrativemysticism.com.